y'all. It's the one and only King Cal 516 live in the mix, and this is the Swiss Flames podcast. So Demarcus Cousins is still unsigned, and I want to dive into this because it kind of bothers me what has happened to Demarcus Cousins. You know, he's had a lot of unfortunate situations dealing with injuries that kind of hindered his progress in the NBA, and I think he just in the last few seasons hasn't been able to find the right fit. So we're just going to dive into this right now and break that down a little bit. Before we do that, please check out the website at www.swissflames.com. Hit us up on Twitter at SwissFlames, and definitely check out the Facebook page at Swiss Flames Podcast. Anyhow, Demarcus Cousins, at one point, to many, I mean, a lot of people were considering him the best center in the league, or one of the best centers in the league. There was a time period where people were debating between him and Joel Embiid as far as who is the best center in the league. And times have changed. You know, injuries have derailed him, and trying to find the right situation to bounce back, you know, to have a great year so he can get a decent contract again. Everything has kind of went wrong that could go wrong. And it kind of bothers me because I believe that Demarcus Cousins still has a lot left in the tank. I don't think he's washed. He's not he's a center that game does translate into today's game. So he's not one of these centers that got left in limbo because of the fact that they're non-shooters and can't shoot and can't space the floor. So, you know, Cousins is a guy that can step back and hit the three. He can post up. He's a tough individual player. He's like, to me, he's old school in the way he's tough. He's a physical player. As soon as he enters the game, you're going to know he's there. You're going to feel his presence. You know what I'm saying? He's not soft. He plays really tough. You know what I mean? He's got great skill for a big man. But it just seems like the last few seasons he hasn't been able to find the right fit. He did pretty well with New Orleans. You know, but then, you know, obviously things didn't work out there. You know, after he got hurt, he had a little run there with the Golden State Warriors. You know what I'm saying? That went okay. You know what I mean? But it just seems like he's not been able to fully get back to Demarcus Cousins. And I'll be honest, we may never see Demarcus Cousins, the perennial all-star player anymore. But once again, I still feel like he's a very, very good productive player still that just needs to find the right fit. Now, hear me out of this. When he was to the Lakers, when he's going to play for the Lakers, obviously he got hurt right before the season started. I actually thought that was a great fit. And I believe just how Rajon Rondo got a 2-year deal based upon helping the Lakers win a championship. I believe if Demarcus Cousins didn't get hurt that year, that was going to be the perfect team to rebuild his stock and to play a good role and help them win a championship. You know, but obviously the injury happened there too. So it's like when he does, you know, find a situation, it's like something just goes wrong. And so obviously it's just bad luck in this situation. Let's talk about last season. He played for the Houston Rockets, which at the start I thought it was a great idea. But with the James Harden drama, and then all of a sudden it just looked like, you know, obviously Houston was just a drama fest. And it just looked like real quickly they decided not too long into the season, we're just going to go young and we're just going to rebuild this whole team. And so Demarcus Cousins ended up leaving the Houston Rockets and ends up signing with the Clippers. And now here's the thing. Every time I see Demarcus Cousins play, because even when he was with the Rockets, the times he would play, he was doing good in my opinion. He was cooking. He was doing good. He was being Boogie. Fast forward later on to this past season when he joins the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? He was like extra insurance. You know, Serge Ibaka was dealing with a back injury. They brought in Boogie Cousins as extra insurance. And so even in the playoffs, even with Serge Ibaka not being available, Boogie Cousins will get some burn, and literally he will start doing good, and then they take him out the game, and then you just don't see him too much later on. So I don't know what it is fully with teams or why they don't really want to run Demarcus Cousins in there, but the last few times he's really been trying to go to teams that look like they can be contenders. And I think this time around with Boogie Cousins and any team he picks, because I'm sure he's going to get a couple of offers out there. And the issue is most of these offers are, you know, seem to be limited time. So unfortunately, when you get to this part of the season, it's hard to maneuver and demand anything really. You're basically taking what you can get with the offers that are offered to you. And so with Boogie, I don't know what deals he has on the table. There's been some rumors about the Nets possibly bringing him in, but I don't really see that, especially with them bringing in Paul Millsap. I just think the Nets prefer like small ball lineups. And if they already have Claxton on the team, I don't think they're going to try to bring in another big if they let go of DeAndre Jordan. I just don't see it, but but even with the Nets, because they love that small ball line, I just don't feel like Boogie would get a lot of time there. There's been slight rumors about the Lakers. I don't really think those are true, but you never know with his Rondo AD connection. You know what I'm saying? If Marcus leaves, maybe Boogie can become a replacement. But even if that's the case, with AD slated to play a little bit more center, I don't know if that's going to be a great fit, because Dwight Howard will get some time because he already has chemistry with that team. So I don't think the Lakers are a great fit for him either. In my honest opinion, I think Boogie should avoid any of the legitimate title contenders, because I think no matter what team it is, his minutes are going to be sparingly. He needs to go to a team where he's going to have an opportunity to play. So it's obvious he can't be, in my opinion, it can't be a team that's really competed for the title. It can't be a team that's obviously a very just young team that's not trying to win right now. He has to kind of choose and hopefully get an offer from one of these teams that are more of the middle of the pack team, because you're more likely to get a chance there. You know what I'm saying? And he just has to put up stats consistently for the whole season in order to maybe entice a team. And I think Boogie, if he has a decent season this year, I think he can kind of demand anywhere from the tax level exception to the full mid-level exception. I think he could get a contract next year in that range, maybe a multi-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal, in that kind of range if he has a decent season this year. But he's going to have to find a team with the right role if that's what's important to him. If it's winning a championship, then yeah, if he can get one of these contenders, then obviously do that if the championship is the most important thing. But if you're trying to get into a situation where you can play in and get the bag, then yeah, I think he's going to find a middle-of-the-pack team. So what brought this up to me, just kind of put this on my mind again, was that I was kind of just looking online and I saw a posting. I don't remember where I've seen this posting at, but I just remember seeing a posting of, basically with the idea of thought of Boogie Cousins to the Charlotte Hornets. And I had to think about that, and I said, yeah, a team like that would actually be good, right? We use the Hornets as an example. Let's just say Boogie was able to start there, right? Him starting maybe means 20 minutes a game, right? Whatever. But if he had it's not about starting or coming off the bench. It's really just about getting a decent amount of minutes where you can showcase what you can do on a consistent basis, right? But let's say Charlotte brought him in and decided, hey, let's make Boogie the starter. We like his toughness, whatever. That means you can have a starting lineup of LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Bridges, Hayward, and Cousins. That's a pretty good lineup. And I believe now with LaMelo Ball coming into a full season as being a starter, I think he's going to play better. He's going to do better. And LaMelo Ball, as young as he is as a point guard, he has the vision on the floor. So I truly believe, and his pass is incredible. So I truly believe a pick and roll situation between him and Boogie could be devastating. You know what I mean? I think that could be really good. So a team like that, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it has to be the Hornets, but I'm just saying a team like that, because the Hornets are a team where, they got some players this year. They're going to see if they're going to make a run for the playoffs. That's their goal this year. They're trying to make the playoffs this year. So they're going to make a goal to try to reach the playoffs. So on a team like that who's trying to step up to the plate, I think if you find any team like that, I think it's a great fit for Boogie Cousins. You know what I mean? So teams that fit that kind of mold, my suggestion would be for Boogie to try to get on one of those teams. You know what I mean? And that might be a better situation for him. But I would like to see him bounce back. I would like to see him, you know what I mean, do good, because Boogie Cousins has a lot left in the tank. And I just feel like he just has to find the right fit, which is not always easy, because a lot of times, this is a statement I can say true in the NBA. Once you become a minimum player, or once you take a minimum because you have to, it's not always easy to bounce out of that. So you really got to find the right situation and be productive, you know what I mean, to get out of that minimum contract situation. Because in a lot of cases, once you get there, that's why a lot of players who make money, who are coming off big contracts, who know they're not going to get big contracts, they still want to avoid as much as possible taking the minimum. So they'll hold out for a while. Even if it means just getting a few more $1 million than the minimum, they'll push for that, because a lot of players know once you get that minimum, you can bounce out of that, but it's not always easy to bounce out of that. You know what I'm saying? And in the situation with Boogie, just getting multiple injuries hasn't helped in a situation, and then just get into some team situations where it just doesn't fully work out. Doesn't help your cause and try to rebuild yourself. But Boogie's still in his early 30s, so he still has some time. I'm hoping that he finds the right situation. But nevertheless, let me know what you think about the situation with Boogie Cousins. What team would you recommend he consider trying to push to get on? Which team you think he can shine and possibly build his reputation back up as being a consistent player, so that he can get a bigger contract? Let me know in the comments what you think. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Appreciate you guys' support. If you feel so inclined to donate to the channel, hit up the Cash App at $KingCal516. With that said, I'm signing off, y'all. Peace.